curvy the curve might be. But what happens if I had a third point, a beginning point and an ending point, and maybe a point in the middle of the top of the curve? It would make it much easier. If I had a third point here, I could go, oh, I'm going to draw it that far up before coming down again. So sometimes for curves, I like to have a beginning and an end and a middle point somewhere, and that will help me know how far things curve in or out. So I like to put one at the waist, like the skinniest part. Some of your t-shirts, these are kind of, most of them I think are kind of feminized t-shirts that are a little bit fitted, right? So wherever you see the skinniest point, we might want to put a point. And maybe the armhole, wherever it dents in the most, we might want to put a point. And those are just helper points that keep you from drawing the curve too big. Does that make sense? Okay. So after lunch, we are going to be measuring your shirts. We're going to be plotting. I'm going to call this 0. So if you imagine this graph paper like that, we're going to call this 0. And we're going to use this as our 0 point to measure up and over from. So you can imagine if I knew 0, all I would have to know is how far out to find point number 1, right? How do you think I could find point number 2? Any ideas? So if I know this is 0, how could I find this?
Measure out into over towards 0 and out over.
So do you think I should measure on a diagonal?
No.
No. Why?
Straight across?
Up and across?
If I measured at a diagonal, I'm not sure what angle to put it at, right? But if I think of it as graphing, if I measure kind of, imagine kind of a dotted line crossing over here. If I measure first up and over, I could find that point very, very easily, and I could be pretty accurate. So this is the process that we're going to take after you get back from lunch. We're going to be finding all of these points, and I'll be projecting kind of an image, a step-by-step image up on the screen so that you can kind of follow along a little bit easier. But I wanted you to wrap your heads around this so it'll sink in while you're eating and relaxing at lunchtime. Any questions? No? So I'm going to give you a little bit longer today. We'll meet back here